Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free.
Okay, next question.
I'm a horse football coach right now.
You know, it got shoved up, shoved it up. It got shoved, right?
Let's go kick some ass!
Savants, I've gathered you all here today in mourning. The 2023-2024 Michigan State national title hopes are on severe life support right now. We just got absolutely crushed by the University of Wisconsin Badgers. Some may say they're a good team and a good stadium and a really hard place to play, but there's no excuse. Being a Michigan State Spartan used to mean something. In the last 4 years, it just seems it is not meant the same. Willie, if you would like to take the floor.
Yeah, I think, the hardest part about this, and I think the general consensus after last week's show or earlier this week was that we were too hard. The team had won 8 out of 10 games, and maybe we were being unfair, but I think the writing was on the wall, and I think that clearly showed last night. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Nikki. I think that the hopes are dead, and I'll start this all off by saying it's all magnified by this team being ranked preseason number 4. Had they been unranked, we would be disappointed, but I think that we wouldn't have had such high expectations for this team. And the biggest thing about this loss is not that they lost the game, it's how it almost was a carbon copy of the first game. Just no fight, no toughness, zero resistance. I mean, Storr had 28 points, totally kicked our ass again. A night where Hogarth had a season high of 19. We weren't even close to competing, really. The game was never all that close. I mean, it was 9 points at the half, and that was as close as it really felt it ever was. It's just disappointing to see him lose like that in a game that I really think that maybe not to them, I don't know, but to me, I felt like it was a test. I mean, I really wanted to see something from these guys on the road, and they came out flat. They never got it going. And the fact of the matter is Wisconsin is a better team than us, right? They're ranked 13 for a reason. We're unranked for a reason. So we certainly lost to a better team, but that's background. It's not that we lost, it's how we lost. I just waiting for this team to put up some fight, and it just doesn't seem to come. And you could say, oh, well, they've won 8 out of the last 11. Well, whatever. I mean, you see what this team does on the road. They're not playing NCAA tournament games or Big Ten tournament games in East Lansing at the Breslin Center. They're playing those on the road, and they're going to be playing good teams. So I think, I said it earlier this week, this game will tell us what kind of team we have, and I think that they showed their ass last night. I just don't think that it's a very sobering loss, and you can keep your hopes up, and I'll still watch the games, and I'll root my ass off for them, but I've seen enough. I just don't see this team doing much.
This,
Yeah, they don't have it. That showed last night. I mean, the slow starts we've talked about all the time, but even last night, Walker looked off for like the first time all season. And then, when we had that stretch that we always have where we play good for a couple minutes and we cut it down to like 3 or 5 in the first half a couple times. Well, then that just never happened again. We joke about the script, but that is how the games have gone this year. And then, I mean, in the second half, it just almost looked like they had I know they played a little bit better, but once it got that far out of hand, it felt like they kind of didn't have that kind of fight. And I mean, we were out rebounded like crazy again. I think Izzo mentioned this after the game or went off about it after the game, but they were beating us to loose balls all night. We talked about Storr having a big game again, but their bigs were cooking our bigs again, especially, and we were getting beat by a freshman with those shots too. And I know they shot like 60% in the first half. Part of that's their shot making, but at the same time, you got to play better defense than that. And it's just, you can't win going that way. I mean, Wisconsin usually doesn't score as many points as they did against us either. So it was just a straight up ass kicking. And
it felt like we never had a
oh yeah, it felt like we were never in the game at all, even when we were down 3. You know, it was just pathetic, and no flow offensively. I mean, it's the same issues every time. And I will say, I want to see Xavier Booker with more extended minutes. I know we keep putting him in at garbage time, but I mean, it can't hurt to see what he has when he's playing legitimate minutes instead of just garbage time minutes
I
where he's
mean,
the only offensive option.
the reason it felt like we were even in the game within the last like 5 to 3 minutes was because Booker went off the bench, gave us 5 points in like 20 seconds. Like he
Exactly,
was,
and we don't have another big that has that kind of flow in the offense.
Right.
Like
That can stretch the floor.
that can
Yeah.
exactly. Like Polar's a serviceable guy at this point, but he's still kind of gotta get back in that basketball shape and everything, and conditioning and
yeah,
everything. It seems like, and then the other guys just it's one step forward, 2 steps back every time. Fumbling the
Cooper.
ball. He was a mess last night.
Okay, did you guys see the picture of him getting the gif of him getting hit in the head with the
Yeah.
ball? I mean, I hope at practice we just have one of those like just jug machines shooting him out at his face. Like he needs to get
Yeah,
back into
yeah.
shape.
I mean,
Maybe
it's
get
just
patches of Houlihan, have him getting hit by cars or something.
There we
Like
go.
like they get the ball and it just becomes stagnant because they have nowhere to go with it. So it just
it's
yeah.
and it sucks. Like I don't at this point. I don't even think it's an effort thing. I just don't think we're that good. Like if you see the
I
teams
mean,
we beat, there's that you could say like, oh well, the only teams we lost to are the top 4 teams of the Big Ten. Well, guess what? We should be winning those games. Like
yeah.
we are Michigan State. It used to mean something. The
I'm not
last
saying
4 years, we have been Izzo is 35 and 32 in Big Ten play, which is just unacceptable.
I'm not saying it's all an effort thing. I'm saying there are a lot of times where it's very obviously an effort thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm not even accusing you
I
of
don't
saying
think
that. I'm
Nick
just
is
saying
trying to contradict anything. I think Nick's making a separate point. Like
Yeah,
it's not acceptable to lose these
yeah.
games. And you look, no one's expecting Michigan State to run the table in the Big Ten. But
I know
when you look at the games we've lost, like we're losing to the top teams, and it's not
close.
acceptable. It's not, like
We're not even making it close. Yeah, yeah.
right. It's not
Except for the Illinois game.
We are supposed to be we are supposed to be the top team in the Big Ten. I mean,
Not
it would be
anymore.
like if Ohio State was going 8-4 every year the last 4 years in football. Like that's
Yeah.
just unacceptable. And look, I'm sure Izzo will use the portal this year. I really think I'm sure he's learned somewhat of a lesson.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
mean,
go there.
Tyson was,
Yeah.
but it just feels like every it feels like none of the players. I mean, Tyson's great. I mean, whatever. He was off yesterday. I don't really care about that. Like, it just feels like the players, like Akins, feels like he's gotten worse every year. Like every game he plays, he just is worse.
I
Although
was gonna
he
bring
gets
him
the
up.
occasional 6 shot. I guess he played well in that first half, but it's not.
He
He
couldn't
should
make
be a
anything
player
last
where if
night.
he go,
Yeah.
he should be a player where if Tyson isn't playing well, he can pick up the slack, and he just doesn't.
He,
Like
he hasn't been like we haven't really had that guy all year. I mean, Hogard had it a little bit last night, but it wasn't enough. Hall's had some pretty good games in conference play, but still not
not enough.
quite good enough. I mean,
Not good enough.
yeah.
We don't have a good enough second guy. We have 2 guys who
Yeah.
would be a good third guy.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of waiting around on Akins. I just feel like every year it's like, okay, this is the year. This is the guy we got, like this is the guy that Izzo wanted instead of Amani Bates. I don't know all the details about that's kind of seemed how it all went down. And Izzo had loyalty to Akins over Amani Bates. And look, Amani Bates, whatever. Like you can say what you want about him, but like Akins just is like wide open threes just aren't even close. Like bricks have, a lot of the time. And I'm not expecting him to shoot 50% from 3, but like at some point, like this is a guy that talked about going to the NBA in the like a couple off seasons now.
We
I'm
were
like, what the
talking about
fuck?
him. We were talking about him this year. Maybe I was overhyping him, but like this was definitely going to be his last year at MSU. Like there was no way he wouldn't be going to the NBA next year. That's kind of
Yeah,
how we
and
went.
now
We were really depending on his development, and it just seems like Like he can hit shots, but he can't hit shots at the right time. Like when we need to make when we're down 3, down 2, when we finally made that vanity comeback, we need him. We need someone to make that shot to bring the lead to get us to win, and that just never happens. We don't play winning basketball. We have Tyson going off at the end most of the time, but it's just not enough. Like it just sucks.
Yeah. Akins has gone from, NBA guy to why would the NBA want him after this year? Like,
Yeah.
he
And
can't make a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see it in spurts, kind of like the team in general.
Yeah.
Like you see it, you see what this team could be, you see what Akins could be in spurts, but not consistently enough. Like it's not.
Right.
There's no consistency at all.
He plays really well against bad Big Ten teams.
Yeah, kind of like the team in general. Like like yeah, we've won 8 out of the last 11, but like a lot of those, Minnesota, Maryland, and
Maryland
yeah,
was just because we had the ball last.
right.
Or,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. We could have easily lost that.
Yeah, it's just I can't say enough. I thought that game was really going to be a telling game for this team, and I'm just
I just don't care.
yeah, it's a sobering loss. I really don't know how else to put it. It's hard to picture this team changing at this point.
Like,
yeah, at this point, change like they are who they are. I mean,
we're the Spartan 7 seeds.
we're 20 games into the season at this point. We're not. This is the team. This is who we are. There's not going to be some significant click. I don't think. Unless that team all of a sudden they find that the way they played against Baylor and they start playing like that consistently. But
one thing about the Baylor game that we really don't bring up is the fact that Baylor played, I think, like 4 games in 10 days right before. Like they were pretty gassed. Which I mean, obviously it was a great win, but like there's kind of a reason why we blew them out.
mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Okay, actually, I was completely wrong about that.
I was going to say that doesn't sound right.
They had an 11-game break. Oh, yeah, they played 6. This was their first break before them doing that, like 5 games in a week, and then they had a break. Okay,
So they could come off a little rust. Even you could go the opposite way. They had a little rust.
I was gonna say I deal with that conference every day. That doesn't sound right.
Either way,
I mean, how did we beat them by 24 points? What the hell?
Where's that team? I mean,
and like we play Michigan, like a bad Michigan team. Like, I don't even care. Like I don't even like I expect them to win, but like if they don't, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, and I wouldn't even get worked out. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. We just suck. Like, I don't think we're gonna sweep them. I think we're gonna go 1-1 like we have every year the past 4 years.
Of course they will. Yeah, well, we'll win at home and we'll lose on the road.
Yeah, like
are we to the point where we're glad that game's on Peacock?
No. Wait, oh my god, that game is on. Okay, well,
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell?
whatever. Like, is it? It feels like it's just time to stop caring about college basketball. College basketball is really not as fun when you're not a perennial threat to win the national title, which it really, even though we might feel like we haven't been since 2020.
Yeah.
Imagine if we've always been one of those struggling programs. I mean, I can't.
Well, we wouldn't be having a podcast.
Probably.
It sucks. This was supposed to be our reprieve from football. I mean, this was really supposed to be. I mean, by week 5 in football, we're already talking about basketball. Like, oh, just get us to basketball season. Just get us to basketball season. And
can we go back?
Yeah, like this is just it's way more fun when your team is preseason number 4 and you could talk about how good you are and how good you could be. But then when the games start playing and you're not that good, it really sucks.
Yeah.
Would you really like to go back to 2015?
I have a hypothetical that you guys are probably not going to like to answer. So when we started college, 2012, it's been 12 years since that. We've had an entire generation of students go through.
Jesus Christ.
If you were to tell me that Tom Izzo's going to coach Michigan State going into our freshman year of college. He's going to get us 2 Final Fours, make the tournament every year. Or you could leave and we could start fresh. What would you take?
I'd take Tom. I'd take the
Yeah, I'd
Probably
take what
would
we
too.
got.
Take the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah.
the
That's
devil.
not
the
as
devil,
difficult a question that you thought you was gonna be.
But like, I mean, Baylor, they've been nothing, but they won a title. Would you rather have
Yeah.
Baylor's last 12 years or ours?
That's a better question.
Yeah, Scott Drew's done a pretty good job over there.
Yeah, I mean, I want a title so bad. I
Yes.
think I would take it.
Like, how many Final Fours
Yeah.
would you have given up everything to win it all this year? Would you have given up? That's tough to say because we were in school for 2015.
Yeah,
Like,
Maybe not
I don't know.
everything, but I'd definitely give a Final Four or two to win a
would
championship.
you break? Would you have?
I
I
think.
would have. Would you have given 3 years of not making the tournament and a Final Four to win a national title?
yes,
I think I would too.
I
I want
guess
it
that
so
just
bad.
bothers me. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's nice to have the tournament streak, and
Because we're in it. Because like we get to enjoy March Madness every year. Which is
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
I can't
eventually,
imagine not
yeah.
watching it. It's like
I do want to win a title. I want it for Izzo. I
Yeah.
want it for the school. I think
If you-
I don't know.
When we
It's-
started school, there was an expectation that by this time we would have had 2 or 3.
another
like,
title. Yeah,
we
at
would
least.
have another
one,
title.
Yeah,
Decent chance it would have been 2.
yeah.
Like, and let's be real, it's just not happening. for the rest of
2014
the
should have
tenure.
happened. Yeah.
2014,
2019.
2016, 2019. We should have beaten Tech.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't even know if I want to get rid of Izzo because you can watch other programs. That shit gets worse.
No
It can
question.
Oh,
get
yeah, dude.
Look
so
at
much
Villanova.
worse.
Yeah,
It can get
Mhm.
so much worse. It can definitely get, and it can get a decent amount better. Like, we're just in kind of like my background, we're in kind of a purgatory. Like,
That's
who
beyond
knows?
purgatory, but okay.
Yeah, we're declining. We're falling from purgatory.
Yeah.
And look, who knows? We could beat Illinois in 2 weeks or whatever, and we could suddenly be all the way back. Like, think about college basketball, but we know in our heart of hearts, best case scenario is probably best a million times best would be a Final Four losing that game. And yeah, I guess that's fun, but does that even really do it for you anymore? Like,
I mean,
Not
at some
quite.
point,
Because-
the final fours are nice, obviously, but
it's just another loss. It's hanging
right.
a banner
It's
for
just
getting
another-
really close.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, the final fours are nice, no question, but at some point, it's like the Buffalo Bills. Like they
Yeah.
have great seasons, they get far, but at some point, it's tiring to lose in these games. They keep losing the Chiefs, and we're not losing the same team every year, but we're kind of losing at the same time. We're getting about to where we were the last year, maybe a little further or a little not as far or not quite as far, but it's it's like you said, it's a purgatory. It's a great way to explain it, and it's not like a purgatory like the Pistons where they can't get
They're
out.
not in purgatory. Yeah,
They're
beyond. They're
they're
they're in
in
hell.
hell.
They're in hell.
purgatory.
Yeah.
They're in a completely
Like,
different purgatory.
Tom Izzo's just a team that can win, is a guy who can win 1 or 2 more games in March than he's supposed to. Like,
Yeah.
that's just what he is. And
But it's like you
great.
said,
That's
I mean-
really fun to have,
Right. It's great.
but it's getting
It's
old.
great. Yeah. It's at some point we'd like to see them get past that threshold and get one more at least. Like you said, we probably when we were freshmen, dating back to then, we would expect if you asked me when I was a freshman,
By the time
how
you're
many we
30,
could
will you have
have?
another national title? Like,
yeah, I would say yeah, for sure.
yeah, probably in a
At
year.
least one. Yeah. And they've had teams. Look, they've had teams that could have done it. And when you get in the NCAA tournament, anything can happen. And you run into a buzzsaw like Connecticut in 2014, or that
Middle
Texas Tech
Tennessee.
defense in
Yeah.
2019. The Middle Tennessee debacle. Like, yeah, the crazy things can
Syracuse.
happen in those elimination games, but I just thought, last night in those tournament games are games where you have to have all your chips on the table. You got to be all in. And I thought last night was one of those games where Michigan State needed to have all their chips on the table. They needed to come out and play a tough game. And it's like Izzo said, they were getting beat on loose balls. And that just tells you that this team doesn't want to put all their chips on the table. or their chips just aren't that good. Like
One thing too that it seems, especially the last few years, is like we were hot as hell coming out of last year. Every year we kind of end kind of hot, even if
Mhm.
like we lose one of the games. Like even that 2021 team when we took UCLA to overtime. Like we won that stretch where we beat like 3 top 10 teams in a week was
Yeah.
insane. Like we were coming out kind of hot, and most teams when they are right preseason ranked well, they they still have kinks, but they come out continuing to be good. We go through like a character arc every year. Like it's like the Mighty Ducks 2, where it's like, oh yeah, we just forgot how to play basketball. Like we have to learn to be good again every year. And we're
Yeah.
returning the same fucking people.
Yeah.
Like it's like AJ like ends every season great. Oh, it's gonna be the next year. Then he's just back to where he is, gets a little bit better the next year. It's like, why
Yeah.
can't we just continue to be good
Right. Yeah.
and build off the success we had the year prior?
Yeah.
Oh,
Amen.
man.
It is
So-
really, it's like it's a character arc. It's so true. It's every year we have to do this thing where it's like, oh, slow
The
start to the
adversity.
season. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Kansas doesn't do that.
Nope.
Duke really didn't do that. Like their slow start to a season is losing in the Champions Classic.
Yeah.
Our great start to a season is winning in the Champions Classic. Our normal start to a season is losing in the Champions Classic.
And then losing to someone else in a big game.
Like
And then
we
going
play
on
a lot of big games and it's fun.
an aircraft carrier, losing there too.
Yeah. Like like we are great at losing on national television, but looking pretty good while doing it most of the time.
Right.
Oh, man.
It's
It's annoying.
but it's
just
like you
annoying.
said, it's like the devil you know. Like, who would you? Is there another coach in the country outside of
No.
like Bill Self that you'd want like than Tom Izzo? No, like I'm not trading that, but and I'm certainly not suggesting, oh, it's time to move on from Tom Izzo. I'm not one of those Spartan fans. I never will be. Tom Izzo has done more for this program than probably any coach in the history of
Ever.
MSU will ever do or has ever done. But
Well, and Biggie
come
Vaughn,
on, man.
he fixed racism. Well, he did not
I mean,
fix
he-
racism.
Okay,
He
that's fair.
did not fix racism.
It's a good point. But it's like I'm tired of feeling this way every year, and this year just feels more magnified than the others because of how bad football was and how big of a reprieve basketball was supposed to be. The preseason #4 ranking, Xavier Booker, 5-star, all this, and it's just like, okay, well, this blows.
The biggest joy this team has given me since 2020, since COVID, was when Amani Bates committed initially.
It's sad. It's true, but it's not. It's not
Yeah.
far
Tell
off.
me what else. Tell me a moment
No,
that gave
you're
you more
right,
joy than
yeah.
that.
I mean, that Marquette win felt pretty good last year.
We beat
That did
the,
too,
like
but
10th
I don't think
best
it was
team
on
in
the same
country.
level.
That's not
Yeah.
that great.
You're right. I agree. Like, it's not that great, and that goes to your point. Like, it's not. It's been 3 years that a lot of college basketball fans would be pretty happy about, but
On us.
when your expectations are what ours have been, it's frustrating. And the Big Ten as a conference has gotten better. I'm not gonna.
Have they? We haven't won a title since 2000.
I agree. Look, I hear that. I get that point, but like, there are teams that are better that weren't good before. Like, Northwestern is competent. Like, they're solid. Purdue has always been pretty
Illinois.
good, but they're really good. Illinois has really stepped it up. Even Maryland has had some pretty good teams. Like before, I guess it was like Michigan State, Purdue, Michigan every now and then, Ohio State every now and then.
Yeah.
I just think the parity, maybe the parity is more widespread. Maybe that's the better way to say it. Like the conference as a whole, when you look at it nationally or whatever, the top teams haven't really done much better. But like the
the bottom
conference,
teams.
if you just look at it at the conference from that scale, the teams have gotten better. I feel like, I mean, even like Nebraska, like that used to be a guaranteed win, and it still really should be. But like they've gave us some tough games the past couple of years. Rutgers has played us tough too. Like it's getting tougher to win in the Big Ten in the conference games, and I think that shows all across the conference. You look at teams like Purdue, who should be beating almost everybody they play. They lost to Northwestern the other night. Like it's definitely the parity's higher in the Big Ten than it was in past years. But like you look at Izzo's Big Ten record over the past 3 years, it's like, like you said, Nick, it's like what 500? Like that's
Slightly
unacceptable.
over.
Like it just
Yeah,
can't be.
35,
Like
32.
we should not. We should at least be 5 games over. I
Like,
mean,
and
come
who knows?
on.
Maybe the Big Ten's kind of figured out pretty well how to deal with an Izzo team. Which, hey, it took them 24 years. That's pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
Like, maybe was losing Dwayne Stevens. Like, was that
Yeah. I think there's a lot of
is it
legitimacy behind that comment.
tired? I mean, it's been since we graduated, since 2016, and it's been like turmoil after turmoil after turmoil. And Izzo is the guy that has to always be in front of the camera to kind of address it. Like, I don't know, maybe that's taking a toll on him. It's just, I mean, he's the king. He's the god of MSU. Always will be. It's just, it's a sad state of affairs. Just
And I think the disappointment, like part of it, he's recruiting very well. Like he's had some strong recruiting classes, better than he had in a while the past couple of years. And it's like, okay,
coming class is pretty good too.
yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
what? Where's the disconnect? Because we're getting good recruiting classes, better than we've had in the past, but the end product is not really showing for that. And I don't. That could be an assistance thing where you point to Dwayne Stevens or Dane Fife. I mean, he's gone for a while now too. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not my basketball mind is not good enough to know for sure. But somebody out there probably could make a pretty strong argument as to what's going on with why these players aren't turning into what they should be or why our team isn't as good as it should be.
Yeah, I think there's something there to that. I don't remember what Fife's role exactly was when he like his development and all that, but I know Stevens worked a lot with our bigs, and we haven't
Yeah.
had a good big since Xavier Tillman, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really not cool.
It's
I don't know what else to say.
and I feel like people are gonna be like, oh, I don't know why you guys think the sky is falling. It's just one game, but
But
it's not. Like even the games we've won. Look at that Maryland and that Minnesota game. That Minnesota game we won by 10, but like it was way closer than it should have been for a home game against a lesser Big Ten opponent. In that Maryland game, I mean, again, we won, but didn't really feel like it. I mean,
we just had the ball last.
yeah,
it's the same problems every week, and that's
Like, yeah.
basically our point. It's-
Like, yeah, like the sky isn't falling, but the sky isn't expanding. Like
Right.
like we aren't
It's not
building a
good.
higher ceiling. Like
right.
we just know what we're gonna get, and it's like, yeah, sure, I'll enjoy the wins. Like if we beat Michigan on Tuesday, like yeah, like I say it won't do much for me, but like I'll be like, all right, cool. Like
I mean, anytime you can beat Michigan, it's great. But like a win versus Michigan on Tuesday doesn't excuse anything else that's happened prior to that. Like it doesn't make up for this loss against Wisconsin.
it's just beating another team you're supposed to beat.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
You know what? Shout out to the fucking hockey team, man.
yeah,
You know what?
that
They beat a
works.
ranked team last night.
Oh, yeah.
4 seconds
Again,
left.
again.
Yeah, like good for them for like thank you for winning games. I mean, honestly, seriously, doing like what they should do.
Coach Jonathan
That was-
Smith, CJ.
Oh.
I know you're gonna get it together for us.
Yes.
I mean that was a hell of a comeback for the hockey team too.
Yeah.
Scored the winning goal in the final seconds. I mean,
Yeah,
we're a hockey school now.
that's
We
right.
are.
Yeah.
And dodgeball.
And
Yeah.
dodgeball apparently. Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's go with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Good short episode. I mean, I know I had to get some things off my chest. I think you guys too.
Therapy session.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it. A good therapy session. I don't know. This team is
Something. They're great friends.
great guys. Great guys.
That only
One of the
goes so far.
one of the more likable. I mean, all of our teams tend to be pretty likable, but like this is a nice group of guys. Like I would definitely like to hang out with them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But I think it's part of like I want it so bad for them. I just
Like they don't want to be the team that like sucks.
right. Yeah.
And they don't suck.
Don't know
They
many
don't
people who
suck.
do. Yeah.
They don't suck. They're just like kind of good. And
Yeah.
everyone wants more than that.
Yeah. Maybe we just have to accept that they're just kind of good and have to lower our expectations, but I
But
can't
like, how do
do
we
that.
do like
Can't do that.
yeah, like
The
yeah, we'll take
expectations
it game
have
by
been
game,
lowered,
have
but
fun. Like I have a wedding, my cousin's wedding on the day of the Final Four, and I was so nervous that like I was like, oh man, it's gonna really suck if I can't watch MSC. Now it's like, okay, whatever. Like,
You're in the clear.
yeah,
No,
I am
no
good
concerns
there.
we're
there.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. That sucks. But it is
Well,
what it is. Michigan
yep.
on Tuesday.
Michigan on Tuesday. Go green, go white. God forgives, the Savants don't.
That's right. Amen. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too.